Boy, it seems like we're having an election once every 10 minutes in this country now, talking about everything from foreign trade to NATO to the economy to jobs. But here's one thing we don't talk about, at least not on the campaign trail. Who's talking about criminal justice reform? Who's talking about prison reform? Turns out a lot of people are, but it's going under the radar. When Democrats talk about it, they're very plain. Criminal justice reform means there's too many black people in prison for no reason whatsoever, too many black people being arrested, charged, convicted, sent to prison, all because of white racism. Very explicit. When Republicans talk about it, they're talking about how, well, we've got all these people in prison, they need jobs because the only reason anybody commits crime is because of jobs. Well, these are two conflicting visions that nobody seems to think important that we resolve. So Jared Kushner and Van Jones, they're out there taking the lead on this, keeping it under the radar, making all these decisions for local and federal governments about criminal justice reform. But I'm going to show you what it looks like in reality when we get past Van Jones and Kushner talking about the theory of it. First, the theory.
You know, this is my heart and soul, as you know. I've worked on this issue for 25 years, and I've always said I'll work with anybody or against anybody to try to get something positive done. But I think there's just like an incredulity that people have. This is like, Donald Trump cares about people in prison? Because, you know, his rhetoric is so tough on so many different people. It's just so hard to people to believe. So is this, I get that you care. Does the president actually care about this stuff?
Look, these guys talked about this for 45 minutes. You can look it up if you care to. That's just theory. Here's the reality of criminal justice reform.
How did this man, Burnell Johnson, get out for $400 cash?
It's rare that a man gets out on bond who's accused of raping a woman.
Again, that's just accusations. Would you please get this out of my face?
Not just accusations. Criminal charges include 7 counts of aggravated criminal sexual assault of a handicapped person. The victim gets help at this nonprofit. She told an aide she had sexual intercourse with Burnell Johnson several times, and it caused her pain. Burnell Johnson was her PACE bus driver. On June 9th, Judge David Navarro denied Johnson bail. On June 12th, Judge Eulalia de la Rosa upheld that decision, no bail. So how did he get out on bond? Originally, it was by orders of Judge Stanley Hill. And it turns out that Burnell Johnson's sister, seen here, Maxine Johnson, for years she was a clerk in Judge Hill's courthouse. And in that bond hearing, Judge Hill called her out by name in the audience. They said they could afford $400 bond. And that's what Hill set it at.
It's not proper. Shouldn't be done. I've seen thousands of bond hearings. I have never seen a judge call out into the gallery to someone by their first name who happens to be a family member of the defendant in front of them.
Could be trouble.
You know, it could be trouble because a judge isn't supposed to have a personal interest on any case, especially when they're setting a bond on a rape case involving a handicapped person. It just doesn't look good.
And when we talk about $400 bonds for people who are accused of multiple cases of rape against a handicapped woman, when you talk about a $400 bond, the people, the Van Jones of the world, look at you and say, Colin, do you want to criminalize poverty? We don't criminalize poverty. That's why it's okay to let everybody out. Man, so the drill is we're going to let this guy out. He's going to be out for a couple of years before he goes to trial. We know that. Trials take a long time.
Please, sir, I want some more.
But letting out rapists and other hardened criminals for $400 a crack, that's what we call criminal justice reform, but that's okay by so many people because at least it doesn't make the black kids angry.